Hello and welcome to yet another series on the channel here, number 34. And today we are back with the Waterbeavers, the Whitepaws, and 1.0, all sorts of fun new stuff to get to. And we're going to play on a custom map I found on the workshop called Atlas Mountains Redux. And on normal mode, because you're not supposed to play Waterbeavers on anything but normal. There we go. Alright, you already know what time it is. It's time for us to make Beaverburg 34. There we go. I spelled it correctly and everything. First try. Alright, so let's hit pause and talk a little bit about this map and then about what Waterbeavers is, if this is your first time seeing a series. And if it's not your first time seeing a Waterbeavers series, a lot's changed. We got to go over it. So this map is called Atlas Mountains Redux, and I picked this because I thought it provided a pretty good contrast to what I normally do with Waterbeavers, which is pick a stupidly hard map and then complain about it. So, this one's got a pretty good starting area here, nice and flat. We've got pines, we've got berries, we've got everblossoms, and we have access down into water. We can easily, first couple cycles in here, get the Waterbeavers out of the cradle of civilization, as it were, and then, make our way around. There's all sorts of stuff. There's plenty of metal nearby. There's this entire other half of the map that is bad water themed, and yes, the Waterbeavers can do stuff with bad water, and we're going to want to have access to it, so that's good. But you might notice a couple things are different. First of all, the pink tree, Everblossom, is what this mod replaces birch trees with, and it is a very useful, fast-growing, high-yielding tree relative to how many days it takes to grow. But that's not the only thing that changes with Waterbeavers, because now we have these wild brambles here, which, if you know, you know, but if you don't, you want to get rid of these as soon as possible on fertile land, because they will spread basically indefinitely, and they take a very long time to get rid of. You can harvest them to get bramble flowers, which are useful for a number of recipes, but if you don't contain these, you're going to regret it. So, they are all over the map, and again, they are useful, but, let them get away from you, and you're going to really have a bad time. So, another change from the base game that Waterbeavers does is the relics are now a very dangerous thing for the beavers. They can get contaminated, they can get disease, they can get injury, which we'll talk about later, the different mechanics for all of that stuff. But, just long story short, I thought this was a fun custom map that has not only a pretty ideal starting setup, but also gives us a little bit of a challenge, but not crazy, and has new 1.0 features like the geothermal field, and then there's also seeps. This is a bad water seep, this is a regular water seep, and of course the relics and everything. I did not see in my perusal of the map any unstable cores, but I'm not going to be upset about not having to deal with those. You see right here, I have an ancient aquifer drill that is right here in the middle, and there's a couple of other things like that around the map, and also, course, bad tide drains, which are going to be an interesting thing to try to counter with this mod, because terrain building is kind of a pain in the butt with the Waterbeavers. At any rate, let's try to get started here. I'll give my best brief overview that I can if you're, again, not familiar. We still have crops, but they're all different for the Waterbeavers. We have cabbage, we have sunflowers, and those two early game are going to be basically what keeps your beavers alive until you can do processing. You can grow rice, but you have to have a farmhouse to do that, and it only grows in certain depth. If it's too deep, it'll die. If it's too shallow, it'll dry out. Well, I shouldn't say too shallow, if it just doesn't have any water at all. Green peas also good, but they have very, very little drought resistance, and there's certain recipes that these things are good for, we'll see. And then lotuses and pumpkins, red cabbage is basically just a holdover to keep a certain building from being annoying. But lotuses and cabbage pumpkins are good for mid-game with a bunch of extra recipes. We've got all sorts of trees. We've got blueberries. We've got grapevines that are useful for making wine and all sorts of other things. The reason these are under trees is because they have to be planted by a building called the tree nursery. And domesticated brambles, banana trees grown in a greenhouse, unbelievably tall bamboo, as the name implies, is unbelievably tall, and it is a very, very important thing for the mid-game and late-game. Giant sequoias. Actually, they're called golden sequoias now. I can't show you how tall they are because they have to be able to plant it first, but they are very, very tall. Moving on to paths and structures. The Waterbeavers now do have zip lines as a change from the previous version. that I played, at least. I did not play Update 7, I believe. But they have zip lines. Most of these assets are custom modified from existing game things, so some of the buildings are going to seem a little familiar. But we got this kind of zipline station. We've got this one that can go on top of a triangular building. We've got zipline pylons, and we also have the floating pylon. You can, use a balloon to hold it up in the air. Pylon add-ons for large farmhouses, and then district centers. The Waterbeavers have a variety of these ranged crossings. You can see here, kind of like a cable car almost, that puts things across gaps. We could do in a spot like right here would be a decent thing. I'm not going to put it there, obviously. And then when you get to houses, here's the thing about Waterbeavers. The biggest thing that's most important to understand, everything is a house. So that's why, and they're waterproof, so that's why they're in the dams, houses, and dam houses thing. You have to take a look at all these different types of houses and decide what kind of function you want the residents to be doing, or rather what you want the building to employ beavers to do. You got haulers, you got builders, you got storage, and then there's also pit and ladder lodges, which have been modified now. There's just the one type. Doors on either side and a ladder in the middle. Very useful to ascend sheer cliffs with these buildings. Pass-through lodges, useful for creating breaks in dams that beavers can go through without actually, getting rid of the dam. And these are all the different types of dams that you can build. You can't, in this mod, you can't just build straight across early game dams because, well, it's supposed to be hard. But you can piece together things from this. You can stack these with upgrades. You can make giant log dams. These are new relative to Update 6, which was the last series I did. But there's all sorts of fun stuff. And then, of course, there's dynamite. That's not really any different. Levees in this game, in this mod, have to be made of a variety of substances. We have clay, we have pine resin, and all these things. And if you want to place dirt, the terrain block is by default actually unlocked now. But you have to have 1,000 pieces of dirt. We'll talk about how to get to those when that time comes. But there's this new one, reconstituted lyophilized dirt block. I'm not sure exactly what goes into this, but I'm willing to bet it has something to do with science research later on. In terms of storage, we have glorious storage for some important things, a bunch of different types of piles and warehouses, and tanks as well. This is a new one relative to the last series I did, called the Gigargantuan tank. Replaces the big one that was on stilts from before. Holds tons and tons and tons of water, 8,000 units of water. And then we also have variants of that for dry goods, like the warehouse, and then the pile also. We have the Hand of Soup, which is a worm thing that holds a big bowl of soup. Advanced worm storage that has heat provided for free and forever by a massive rod of low-grade radioactive matter in the center of the tower. Isn't nuclear power wonderful? Scroll displays for scrolls. We'll talk about those when the time comes. Gas tank for gases, and then underground cold storage, etc. Basic build structures, we're going to go through these as we use them. Water and bad water, there's a variety of different types of pumps that can, nest into each other and have upgrades. And then we have irrigation, different things to artificially irrigate land with a constant supply of water. Very, very useful for this mod. Showers, because who doesn't need showers? And then we got a bad water thing here. You can just put a little post where they literally will haul bad water out of a bucket. We got bad water pumps that can be powered. This one does not have to be powered because it's manual, but this one does have to be hooked up to power. But it produces quite a lot of bad water. That's, we'll call it about 33 bad water per hour. And then we also have aqueducts that we can build instead of, just putting overhanging terrain and stuff everywhere. You actually use the giant sequoia logs to make all sorts of cool stuff. Food buildings. A couple of changes here. We'll get to those as we get through there. I don't want to take too much time trying to explain stuff. Of course, wood stuff here, lumberjacks, tappers flags. That's a separate thing just for this. Logging, we have a sub-menu now with all these different buildings. Log gnawing stations. Again, this tech tree stuff we'll get to when we get to it. They got a whole set of metal things. I don't think any of that's really changed too much, except now we have things organized slightly better. In terms of power, it's about what you'd expect, with the exception of multiple tiers of gravity batteries based on materials you build them from. Yes, you can use essentially depleted uranium as a source of potential energy geothermal engines because the map allows us to do that now. Regular engines, except these run on methane instead of, burning logs. Solar panels, always a cool thing. And then nuclear power. Boy, oh boy, is that a fun one to get to late game. Science-wise, water beavers have a much higher emphasis on science than other mods, or vanilla factions, if you will. And this is going to be a fun thing to get to. And yes, the water beavers have automation, which I am sure is going to absolutely just destroy my brain trying to figure that out, but that's going to be fine. They have a new building called the Calculatorium, which, plays into a bunch of that kind of stuff. Well-being, a lot of the same kind of things that you are used to, just different. We have Contaminated Beaver Jail, which is where contaminated beavers go. We have the Beaver Washing Machine, which is a hilarious building where they literally, spin the beavers around and essentially, upside down waterboard them until they stop being sick. 3 different types of medical beds for diseases, injuries, and minor burns. We've got Peacock Court for well-being purposes. We've got Teeth Grindstone. We've got a clinic, which is a little bit more of an advanced building in terms of, not being available early game. But that will heal your major injuries, minor injuries, stuff like that. Got different recreational pursuits. It's fun. And then, of course, the Trebuchet, where you can yeet rocks and sometimes beavers. And a dance hall. Outside of that, we've got decoration, which has now covered walkways that are automatically equipped with these roofing pieces. We don't have to manually build all that. We got a variety of statues. Aromatic burners for, quote-unquote medicinal purposes. Public fountains. We've got gold fences. If you have absolutely nothing to do with all of the gold you're making, then you can do that. And then we have monuments. Farmer statue, lumberjack statue, metalworker statue, replacing some of the other ones that you may be familiar with. Project Triumph, which is the water beavers in-game mod. What's the term I'm looking for? Monument thing. I have no idea why I can't remember what that's called. And then the Statue of Dunking, which is just funny. So, now that we are 13 minutes into this video and we have done absolutely nothing, let's get started and actually get these beavers set up for success. So, you start out with the Broken Expedition cart. This is a new icon that they put on here. But you have, basically inside of this, when we delete this, we will have to have an actual district center and all that stuff set up. But when we actually delete this, we're going to get some materials to rebuild Beaver Society. So in here, you can see we've got sacks, we've got barrels, we've got boxes, and we also have, this is a chemistry set, we've got the library set, and there's an anvil down here. Different stuff that we're going to need to use to build actual industrial things. So, starting out, we've got our path. We can connect right there. And the first thing we're going to want to do is secure food, water, and cutting down trees. Food is a pretty easy one early on, as we all know, because we have some berries available. I'm just going to put this... I'll go right about here just so that's a nice straight line. Get these connected here. They can take these berries. They can eat the berries, and it's not the best food ever, but it will keep them alive. In terms of water pumping, pretty simple early on. You just have to have 25 logs, just like the normal recipe. And they're very, very convenient to build. We'll go for one right here, right next to the water. And then we will also have to have storage, which thankfully in this game is not oppressively difficult to build. At least not yet. Just get that set to regular water. Yes, there are a lot of other liquids we'll get to eventually. We'll get that all set up when the time comes. We also have to cut things down. Again, early game, you just have to do a lumberjack flag, and that's the way it goes. We don't want to waste time cutting these brambles down because, well, one, you can't really get wood from these. You just get bramble flowers, which are useful, but not for right now. We do want to try and keep these contained, which... that's going to be a whole thing. I've been told the paths no longer stop them, so we're going to want to probably start building buildings around here, if at all possible, until we have the opportunity to corral them further, or just eradicate them entirely. They spread extremely fast, like weeds, but worse than any weeds you've ever seen in your entire life. I will also, since this is free, go ahead and get a pine resin tapper flag set up. And just so we are not in absolute crazy town here, I'm going to take a couple of moments right now to just do this checkerboard pattern here of cutting these trees down, just because that is going to keep some of them alive until we can, you know, get a little bit further into the game and let them just spread as they need to spread. I know I'm marking some of these that are not yet mature trees. It's going to be okay. We will survive. Trying to just make it so that all of these can continue reproducing indefinitely without cutting every single tree down. So for now, this is probably going to be enough to get us the amount of wood that we need, at least right off the bat, for the most important thing, which is building the water pump. So let's prioritize that. We only have 2 beavers that can work as builders for the broken expedition cart. So let's let them do what they got to do. And then before, they can walk through the brambles, but you know, we don't need to make them do that. Before things get too crazy, I'm going to set this path all the way down the outside. I guess I should have said around the outside, as is tradition, around these parts. And we want to cut down these ever blossoms, but again, not all of them. Just some of them, since we have the ability to do all of that. Let's get this lumberjack flag here. And then in terms of containing these, again, like I said, fences are your best friend, but we don't have the ability to make gold fences. We can unlock the hedge, but we don't have science. And boy, oh, why is this beaver golden? Oh, it's me! I forgot. I forgot that was a thing. Oh, cool. Yeah, I can't wait for my little in-game avatar to get absolutely obliterated by the nonsense of water beavers. But what a fun surprise. I already knew that was a thing, I just forgot. We want to put in piles so we can actually accumulate and use goods, but I don't think I need to have one yet. I just want to make sure we can get these guys to actually build stuff. So I'm going to have them go take care of that. In terms of food, again, we do have to have a farmhouse to actually plant anything else. That takes 25 logs, which we're not in yet. I do want to, because this was a new thing. We have a harvester's office to gather berries a little bit faster, and, you know, all these other things. But it requires stuff that we don't have yet. You can already see the brambles are spreading. So, you know, there's a little bit of urgency we need to attack here. I'm going to choose, first of all, to pause so we can strategize this. You know, there's no rule that says you can't pause the game. I just tend not to sometimes. I think it's going to be impossible to prevent the spread out to the water's edge here, but I think it's going to be important for us to prevent the spread to here. So instead, we got a little bit over half the logs for that already. If I can put most of the storage along here, so I just prevent, you know, taking all of this up, I think that's probably going to be best. In terms of economy of materials for the largest possible coverage, looks like the large pile is going to be our best friend here. Got that. We've got storages. Crappy warehouse is all we can, you know, best we can do right now. It's 4 logs. This is 2 logs. And we're going to want to have all of this, so why don't we first put this large pile basically right about here, I think is going to be good. Because these are going to take at least a couple days to get all the way out here. I can fit 2 crappy warehouses back here. I can actually set these back a little bit. And then that should be, let's actually flip this one. So I've got room to, you know, path around it. And we will have, you know, actual stuff placed in these. It's not just, oh, I got to build this so they don't have the brambles go everywhere. Nobody talks like that. So we've got our first our first defense against these things. So large pile. First thing that goes in the pile obviously needs to be logs. Crappy warehouses can store a whole bunch of different things, but right now we need storage for food. So I've got one for berries there. Because I don't have any other food, I'm going to go ahead and allocate this to berries as well. And then we've got these things over here. Again, we're not making any of this yet. But we're going to want storage before we need it for a bunch of stuff. And as we get into metal processing, we've got scavenger flags. We have to be able to get up to the metal, which is going to take us, maybe a little bit of time. Because we have to do stuff to get access to better stairs. We do have, regular stairs. They're just 2 blocks long instead of 1. And to put in platforms, we also have to use a lot of logs. So it's not impossible to get up. It's just more difficult. Fortunately, we have trees here. They're cutting those down. And we have some trees over here. We have some more over here. I just wanted to keep some of these around for the purpose of having a pine resin area here. So I'm gonna, I'll just seed this to the wild brambles at this point, and then coming over here, we can do something similar. But I think it was going to be probably in our best interest to do another thing here for logs, and then, eventually we're going to want something to put our planks and everything else in. Do I want to do this way? I think, given how this is set up, I'm probably going to need to do that. Let's make that and that like so, and then I've got space here. Now, glorious storage, you might think, oh, we don't need that right now. We will. So I'm going to make a storage for anvils, and we'll talk a little bit more about this when it comes time to destroy the cart. But you have to have somewhere for the stuff to go, or else it's just really not going to make any sense. So this is going to, if I'm not careful, still come through this way. I wonder if I can get... okay, so that's been moved there. Wood fenced... Aha! Okay, this is exactly what I want to build. Do I have logs on this side? I kind of don't. This has 16. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I know the game's been paused a while, but this Waterbeavers requires strategy. I can't just, willy-nilly all this. I'm going to remove this lumberjack flag because now I've got logs on the ground. And if I just disconnected the path, then they would ignore it. Now that I've got logs on the ground, I can turn to this right here, this large pile. Make this a priority. We don't have water, but they're not going to starve yet. It's day 1. Die of thirst, etc. I think... Yeah, I don't want this to be superseding the water pump in terms of importance, but I will go ahead and make that a primary construction goal. I need to be able to store logs here that I picked up here so that I can then go to, say, the way this is laid out, I don't think is going to do me any favors. Maybe I should move... Yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's move our glorious storage. I mean, this will make sense when I, actually talk through all of this. I'm going to move this back one more here. And then I've got that. I need one more for the chemistry set. Again, I can't put that there quite yet, but this can be for the chemistry set. I believe that's the... I might need one for the clay pot. Yeah, that's what I will do. I'll make that for the clay pot. Maybe there's a medium cauldron. I can't remember exactly what it's not going to matter because once we, destroy it, we'll have an idea what goes where. Let's put that there. And what's going to happen here, once, it's not mission critical yet, but I'm going to put a wooden fence gate on this tile, which is going to block the brambles from getting through here. And we'll do the same thing on this tile when we can actually get to it, but just to show you what is happening and why this is so important. That's what we're working with. All right, finally, let's get through the rest of day 1, and when they wake up, they will complete the construction on the water pumps. Like, again, the brambles grow really quickly. I need you to understand that this is like a one-time opportunity for us to prevent absolute chaos by keeping it contained back by the... Like, you see this, right? It's nuts, man. All right, we got 5 more logs going in there. Again, we only have the 2 beavers that can do this, so it's a whole thing. Got berries in there. Come on. Come on, boys and girls, get this done. All right, so now, see, even in just that short time, all of this is what it is. And it looks like that's just about, yeah, see, they're picking all those off the ground. We are going to put it back. I just have to, absolutely must, put in a gate here and a gate here, or we are going to lose all of this whole thing to the brambles. Pumping water again, finally, which is good. Now, before things get too out of hand, let's go ahead and get these paths in. And then I also need to do that here. I've got 8 logs, should be enough. I'll tell you what, let's, for the sake of, well, okay, it doesn't matter in terms of blocking the brambles because they won't go off across a construction site. But to get access to all of this, they do have to actually have the gate built. So let's do this. Let's have them prioritize that gate because that's going to give them access to the rest of these logs. I know it's only 8, but that's going to have to work fine now. Okay, so the berry gather's full. I'm going to hit... I actually don't need to hit pause because I don't have other jobs for these beavers to do. I can't stop looking at this guy. I did not plan this. Like, this is randomized, right? The mod comes with certain community members representing beavers in the name pool. And I'm one of them. There's a couple of other YouTubers and mod creators and stuff like that. So I just thought it was neat that one of the very the very first beavers is the one that's for me. Let's get this fence gate complete, and there we go. This area is now safe from brambles coming across. We are gonna, we're actually gonna build these. Like, let's not make a mistake here. I don't have here. Oh, I do have enough logs to get this done. I really don't want brambles. If you've seen the other series, you understand. It is legitimately just, it's not, it's not a good time. But now that gate's in place, I do want to put this lumberjack flag back so that we can cut these trees down. And since we have so many extra beavers, and these are free to build, I'm going to just go ahead and stick 3 of these in. Let's make them a priority. Make sure this is set up here. Now that we do actually have storage. I might move these paths later when we actually put stuff in, but close access is always a good thing. Don't need to pause the flags yet because these beavers don't really have much else to do, but we are... oh. Okay, well that's what that does then. Alright, we're going to into some cyberpunk territory here. We want to make sure the beavers don't die of thirst and they don't starve to death. Sleep is also a helpful thing. Need to get shelter, but we'll get there when we get there. Look at all these options. So many things. So many things. We'll be okay. We'll be fine. Let's just get through the rest of the night here. It's like one of the major early game stressors with these guys is dealing with the brambles. I don't have any others on this. Do I? Okay, good. So areas like where are there brambles up here? Yeah, like this entire thing up here is going to be entirely brambles. This is going to be all brambles. Within, like, one cycle. That's going to be all brambles, and then, well, they're dead. So, that one's fine. Alright, we got these going. I don't have all of these marked for cutting. We probably, you know what? This is actually not the ideal way of doing this. Let's restripe. There we go. These will spread naturally again, so that's why I'm leaving some of these uncut. We can't get across here very easily yet. We will in due time. Okay, so both of these are built. We've got them working there. By the way, this is a house, and that's where I live. Again, because everything is a house. So since we're still we're early enough where it doesn't really matter, but if I don't build one of these before I have to build one of these, it's going to be a bad time. So, while we're waiting on them to do that, I figured I'd show you guys some of the... what was that under? The billboards. Ah, yes. Mostly helpful billboards. So, we do have the tech tree board, which I'm not going to build because I don't want to use 20 logs at this time. But it does give you some information if you zoom in on what buildings come before which other buildings, some of what is required to build them for special resources. There's the news board, which gives a boost to social life. So I'm going to put this just right over the path right here. Gives a area of effect bonus, which is, this is where all the beavers are going to live. So this is land I'm not going to use. But, you know, it's just news. Long time no see. So things have been improved. It helpfully tells us that each water voxel, that's the cube, holds 8 water. Beavers swim faster because they're water beavers. That was a thing I think a couple people brought up across the older versions. Like, these guys like water. Why do they swim so slow? Well, there you go. Thanks to the other mods included in this bundle, the map height's been increased. And then there's all sorts of other stuff thanks to some community folks who contributed. And, you know, maybe some hints at what's going to come next for the mod. And outside of that, we also have things to help you build certain things. Like, right here, don't delete the cart without having a district center, or you're done. Is that the same one I just clicked on? Yeah, wrong order. Right order. Build the district center, then get rid of the cart, and then you have all the different supplies that come out of that. How not to starve? Know your math. 1 farmhouse feeds 10 beavers. How not to die of thirst, which we were just talking about. 1 pump is, in theory, good enough for 25. So, no, that's 20. That's not 25. I can't do math. See? Know your math. I clearly don't. Absolutely love the Office 97 style word art on these signs. So, again, like I was saying, we don't need the second one yet, but I am not going to get caught with that one. We're making sure that this is a successful series from day one. All right, so crappy warehouses need to have something in them. We've got berries. We've got berries. We're not making any of the rest of this stuff yet, but we will. So, actually, you know what? We need storage for pine resin. That's actually a helpful thing to have. I was going to talk about metal fasteners, but we haven't quite gotten there yet. What else? Because I don't think there's that much frosty pillows. That sounds nice. I don't think there's much else we can really do except prepare for, say, cabbages. And then, where's my sunflower seeds? Why can't I find sunflower seeds? Did that get changed to an ingredient and not a food item? Or am I just really dumb? Okay, this is embarrassing. I can't find sunflower seeds. So why can't I plant it if I can't harvest? Oh, these have fireworks too. Good. Sandals? Okay, that's new. Why is this melting down my brain so hard? If I can grow sunflowers, I can't store them? Okay, I can't spend any more time on this. I'm guaranteed people are going to be upset if I do. So, I guess for now we'll just make this into cabbage storage. So, how do you grow cabbage? You build the farmhouse, which, again, is also a house because this is water beavers. So, since we have... Yeah, we've got a decent amount of farmable land, but we don't have a ton accessible at the moment. So, I'm going to put this, say, right here, so that the area that it can farm is actually pretty close by and isn't taking up any of the bramble space, because it's going to be a while before we can take care of that. But if you put 2 farmhouses together, which I'm not going to actually build, but just to show you, you can get these upgrades. This one gives you assistant farmers. This one, that's a different building. And I already showed you the nerdy attic, so you know they can go play Tunnels and Humans, which is definitely not a, reference to another game. But yeah, there's stuff you can add on top of these. It's a triangle roof building, so you can put stuff on it. We'll get there when we get there. But this should be probably the next thing to get built after this second water pump. I think they're still building the storages, which, to be perfectly fair, I did need them to build, so I'm not just gaming the system with placing buildings that aren't going to be constructed. That's working pretty well. Food-wise, we can still, until this gets built, we can still get by with all these berries, but we can't rely on those forever. Let's get this to triple speed here, and then let them just build a couple more things. I only have one extra beaver that isn't working, and as soon as this water pump is complete, then they will have a job, and we'll have to start taking them away from some of these other things. And yeah, it's probably going to be a little bit before they finish that, because they have to build all these things. But at least they have log storage, and now we have glorious storage for all these things coming out of the cart. I might, like I said, have to change this from clay pots to medium cauldrons. We will see. And most importantly, the wild brambles are not going to be any bigger of a problem than they currently are. That being said, let's do ourselves a favor, and in the middle of this, put a lumberjack flag that can harvest these for flowers. And putting it right in the middle is probably going to be our best bet. I'm going to deprioritize that as a workplace. And, see, oh, we need flower storage. That can be what goes in... Why can't I find... There it is. That can be what goes in there. I knew there was something I could have done with that. Okay, so that's coming along. I do have enough logs. We'll need to get a forester going as well, but we'll get there when we get there. Alright, so now I'm at 0, 0. I'm going to have to get some more houses built so they can continue to reproduce. But for now, got about half the beaver's house. That's a decent start. This will be another 3. Got a little tiny bit of storage for water. Let's take a look in a book. Logging. Forester, of course, has been modified, so it's not requiring planks for water beaver purposes. But I think what is going to work best is if we place a forester down here where there's already other trees. And I'm going to want this to be probably right about here. Seems pretty good. Smack dab in the middle. Let's give this a path. Of course, there's a partially grown tree right at the end. I'm going to just say bye to that guy right there. And then we are going to plant here. Early game, basically, you only ever want to have ever blossoms because it's 13 days for 3 logs versus pines. In this game, version of the game, 15 days for 2, but you get the resin. I'm just going to keep the resin up where we are. Chestnuts, of course, give you chestnuts, which we will plant some of these, but the priority right now definitely needs to be ever blossoms. Since this is water beavers, and they like being in the water, we do want to make sure that we're giving them ways to get the wet fur bonus, which is going to also give me an opportunity not to have to put the path in through here. Log stairs are going to help us get down and then back up, but I don't want to use all those logs right now. Just keep in mind, that's why I'm doing that way. Let's make this entire thing, until otherwise stated, let's make this entire thing into ever blossoms. They will plant, of course, in concentric circles around the doorway until everything's done. I'm going to go ahead and say... I'm going to leave this on the edge open a little bit for now. I'm going to say that's going to be fine. Chestnuts, I'm going to leave some space open for some crappy warehouses. That's all I've got. The rest of this can be chestnuts. In terms of cutting, I only want this area to be cuttable, because that is where my ever blossoms are. So that's that's going to be what it's going to be. I am going to move before these get planted. I'm going to put a lumberjack flag, probably right here in the center would be a decent spot. I'll move that there. I will extend this path 2 tiles. For now, that's going to get us where we need to go. I know there's these other better logging buildings, but we do have to get through a little bit of the tech tree before that becomes a thing. So, are we working on the farmhouse? We are. Good. Let's get that done. Oh, we have chipped tooth beaver. Let's do a teeth grindstone. And that will go I guess probably right here makes sense. Let's get that prioritized, actually, because we only have so many beavers. That should be good there. I know we could do some early game automation, but we don't have science. So while we're waiting, let's actually take a moment to talk about that, because this is pretty important. Water beavers science is extremely complicated and extremely difficult, but it's not impossible, and it actually is organized in such a way to kind of prevent you from getting too far over your own skis, so to speak. But the first thing we have to do to get science is build the library. The library, as you can see, does not have a science requirement, does not require any super crazy stuff to build, but it does require the compact library set that's in the cart. So we can't do this until we have a district center. But outside of that, we have to have 30 logs, which not going to be a problem, and we have to have 60 planks. Well, how do you do planks? Water beavers is a little different. You have to, at first, gnaw them. So you build a log gnawing station, which as we start to get some more beavers, is going to be a good way to get some extra employment out of these guys. In 4.2 hours, they will chew one log into one plank and sawdust. There is a byproduct. So you have to be able to store the sawdust somewhere, and the sawdust can then be processed into other things. But for right now, log gnawing station is going to be a good way for us to get some early stuff taken care of. Make sure that's set to tooth cut planks, and it is. I'm going to go ahead and give us 2 piles. I'll just do this right here. Why not? Why not? We make one for planks. We can make one for... That's dirt. Where's my sawdust? There it is. And that's going to give them... I can't have 5 beavers in this yet. That's going to give them something to do. Planks and all that. Sawdust is going to be annoying to deal with for a while until we unlock the recipes that are going to consume it. We also have the ability... Unless that's been patched, I actually didn't check this. There used to at least be a building that would burn sawdust. And permanent smelter... Okay, there it is, the wood burner. We have to have clay for that, which will burn sawdust and just get rid of it. You get no benefits, but you get your storage back. You can get coal by burning logs, charcoal ostensibly. You can make small clay pots by putting clay and logs in here. The permanent smelter is how we're going to get our first scrap metal, because we don't have anywhere to put a scavenger flag. So, you can quickly see how a lot of this becomes very challenging. How do you get iron? That's what the Fe is. That's the chemical symbol for it. And how do you get coal? Well, you gotta mine them, which, in our mining area, we have the clay pit, and then we have the primitive mine. Primitive mine is quite literally a hole in the wall being the cliff face that the beavers have to go into. And the fun thing about the primitive mine is it has a very specific way that it has to be built, and you have to find a location with which to do it. 2 blocks high, so like right here, if these 2 blocks weren't there, would be perfect for it. But, you know, they are there, so you can't do that. You have to find a spot, and this start could be very challenging. We're gonna see what happens with this. We may have to dynamite. I can't remember if there's dynamite in the Broken Expedition card or not. I want to say there probably isn't. Well, we'll find out. If we don't have dynamite, we're gonna be in for an interesting time, because that's gonna require, if we can't build one of these, that we put a scavenger flag up here, and we're gonna have a lot of stairs. We're gonna have a lot of stairs to build. You know, I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, well, why didn't you think about that before you picked this map? Well, you know, previous versions of Water Beavers, the primitive mine did not have the 2x2 flat top requirement. It was only 1x2. It was much easier to place these. And I saw this, and there was a bunch of places to do it. There's one here, there's one here, there's one here, there's one here, and I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great. Well, it's Water Beavers. What can I say? I've got 72 logs. They're still building this. Let's get the farmhouse done before I get too complicated here. I'm going to preemptively plant cabbage. There we go. I promise I know how to speak English. Mostly. 3 logs. Come on, logs. Come on, logs. Alright, alright, so now they're going to get to work on that. We've got housing for all but 4 beavers. And I think it's probably about time to check on our district center. I never remember where that is. Okay. So we have to build district center, which is this thing right here. It's a 4-way district center, which means it has 4 doors, just like a sedan. And, oh, of course, it has to be separated by a district crossing. So I'm going to have to pick a spot that I want this to go and then isolate it so it doesn't cause the conflict. So I'm going to try to be careful about where I place this because it does have a little bit of a... Ooh, I kind of want to put it like at the tip here. It does kind of have an effect on what your districts end up doing because, well, it is the hub of things. It's also a house, and it's also a jobs center. So we'll come back to this. Maybe not this episode because it's already gone a little long. But we'll think of a good spot to put it, and we'll get that taken care of. Okay, this is not exactly a priority yet. This is new. The giant half logs being made in the log gnawing station that used to be a function of the advanced sawmill, and it looks like it still is. Okay, let me actually look at this recipe here. Oh wow, that's why 4 days, 6 hours. you get 1 giant half log and 340 units of sawdust instead of 2 of these that the advanced sawmill gives you in 6 hours. Okay, you know, I actually really like that because getting this unlocked is kind of a pain. And you can actually use the I guess they're not giant sequoias anymore, golden sequoias. You can use that a lot earlier if you don't have to have this. Alright, so we're planting cabbages. We still have plenty of berries available. This is looking okay. Did we cut down all of these? We pretty much did. I'm going to, in that case, hit pause on this lumberjack flag. We got forester. Oh, good. So we only have 1 homeless beaver right now. That's good. We need to have a slightly larger population. We don't want to rush population with water beavers. Tell you what. I'm going to, because it takes so long to cut these, I'm just going to do the closest couple squares to this to get bramble flowers. We don't want them going all over the map if it's going to grow back faster than they can cut it. So that seems like that's going to be fine. They built this. We get the bonus. That's why it was up to 5. Yeah, I need to build, probably for today, 1 more building that actually houses beavers. So we need to decide what that is. Let's get through the rest of the night here. It probably would not be a bad idea if we're not going to... There we go. If we're not going to build the district center right away, would be a good idea to have a house for either builders or haulers, which is what all of these do. They do require the pine resin, which is why I built this so early. I think it's going to be... I don't know, maybe... Do I want to just go ahead and... I know we don't have the planks yet, and it's going to take a long time, but do I want to go ahead and queue up the district center anyway? I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. Storage house. That actually would not be a bad way to get some decent early storage because it's 120 capacity, which is more than, what, 9 of these. The medium tank requires 120 science, which we don't have, so I think that is going to be, at least for right now, going to be a decent thing for us to do. We got a pit. Okay, that's got stuff we cannot make yet. Let's make a liquid storage house. It's got the 2nd floor entrance, and it is also a levee, so you know that's going to be very handy later on. For right now, I just need to find a place for this to go. I'm going to say I'm going to put this right here. And the reason I'm putting that right there is because I can put 1, 2 if I put a platform here. Actually, hold on. I need to check this. I don't think it's supposed to let me do this. I want to know if this has been patched. No. Okay, well, because this is a levee, it's waterproof, watertight. I wouldn't think it would actually work on top of a platform. So, anyway, I guess we'll be able to do that when the time comes. But you always want to build these in at least a set of 2, and any number after 2 is good, because then you can put in upgrades on top, so on and so forth. It just bridges the space between. Don't ever build a single pump by itself with water beavers unless you just enjoy bad optimization, which I'm not your dad. Do what you want, but anyway, you get the picture. I'm going to have them finish this, which looks like that's what they're going to be doing anyway, and then we can put the extra beavers that we don't have to work. Starting to make planks, because you know that's going to be a whole thing. Yeah, but we definitely could use water storage. I'm going to say for right now this needs to be the priority, because they're not going to have output that's filling this for quite some time. And I know it says 21 hours to get something done. Let's just give this guy something to do, because that's what we have. Resin-wise, I only need 15. I'm going to say pause the tapper's flag, because I would rather have them working in the log gnawing station instead. This is also going to employ, and... oh wait, no it's not, because that's the building's function is to store. Okay. Well, that's fine, I guess. I'm going to pause these 2 lumberjack flags, because most of these trees are cut down. And we have these 2 right here. I'm going to pause this one as well, because for right now, a single flag is probably fine, and this is also full. That gives us 3 extra beavers, which don't have to be a math genius to tell you that is more than 1, and putting them in the log gnawing station is going to put us in a pretty enviable position as we move forward. So, you might be wondering, as we sit here overnight, what's this flooded building? Well, it is a relic way down under here, underneath the waterfall, because, you know, every waterfall must be explored, and this one has a relic under it. So, we have opportunities to do some pretty neat stuff with this. Just want to make sure that we're going to be... oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. I did not think they could do that. Well, this just got terrifying. I didn't think they could jump down a level. Okay. Okay, this is going to be... oh, yikes. Because you know what's going to happen as soon as this gets far enough out here, it's going to creep. Actually, you know, I don't yet have proof that it is going to go up. Maybe it can just go down. I don't know. Well, that's a next episode problem. we got other stuff we got to do. Let's get them going here. It looks like, yes, the farmhouse only employs 1. I know someone's going to ask about that. Looks like for right now the cabbage is doing okay. Once this is built, then we will be able to put more water storage in. Man, I am concerned about this. So here's what we're going to do to stop this from being an absolute catastrophe. Is I'm going to temporarily plant cabbage here. Okay, we haven't planted any of these yet. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create an inland road. And I'm going to plant trees on the outside to the point where it's not going to be possible for this to get messed up. Okay, 2%. No, that tree is gone. I am sorry. So I have to move this. If we plant a barrier of trees and we are set up in a way that's not going to... oh, can it skip corners? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, this is going to stop it from being, you know, complete idiocy. At least. I think what's going to be better is, with this knowledge now, How in trouble am I going to be? Do I have log storage? I do not. Okay. Because I need to be able to put a another gate here, because they're just going to jump straight past this. I'm gonna... Okay, I can't spend my time panicking about this. I just have to do it. Let's wait until day 9. I'm gonna empty this pile so it goes into the other one, and then I'm going to remove that that path so I can actually get this fully taken care of in a way that's not going to be completely horrible. All right, yeah, yep. Just give me enough to build this here. That is going to construction first of all. That's got 2. Okay, what else do they have to build over here? They got that. This house is done. So we don't have any more homeless beavers. That's good. Yeah, I'll just... Man, those brambles. I told you. Did I not tell you? It's like a plague. Okay, how many are in here? 4? I need more than 4. I need this to be more than 4. Okay, how many... Let's get that. And then I will have to put this here. This is the best I can do, folks. Best thing I can think to hopefully solve these problems. So I guess... Oh, I guess this is okay. I guess it's fine. So the cabbage is going to take a little bit of time to grow. This is... Okay, that's drying out. This is going to be an interesting first couple of cycles, because I'm not entirely sure exactly what's going to be happening as stuff continues. But honestly, I think this is a pretty good start. I don't really have any complaints, except for the whole I'm now extremely afraid of brambles thing. I think we're going to be okay. We're just going to have to keep an eye on things and you know, give it the old college try, as it were. But I really love the Water Beavers mod, and I am so excited to be back in this mess. So we're going to see. We're going to see how this goes. There's a lot of new stuff in 1.0 that I don't have any experience with in this specific mod, but I think we're going to be good. So, if this is your first time watching one of these videos, first of all, congratulations on making it to the end. Second of all, I want to introduce you to a group of fantastic people who are one of the main reasons why this channel can even continue to exist. That is, of course, our fabulous supporters, who I have dubbed Beard Boosters, supporting the channel. Not all 1,600 names you see here are active, but I don't ever take anybody off the list unless they ask me to. These are folks who, at some point over the last 3 years and 1.5 months that I've had channel memberships or Patreon available, have decided to support the channel or were gifted a membership by somebody else. And truly, it's not really possible to do quote-unquote full-time YouTube with out having a huge channel, a huge audience, and all this stuff, and taking brand deals. Like, I don't do brand deals on this. No, I want to play games. I want to have a good time, and I want it to be an authentic conversational. There you go, not transactional, conversational experience, where we can just, you know, enjoy the process. Authentic gameplay. I don't take out mistakes. I don't do any of that stuff. It's just me, the game, and you if you choose to watch the videos. And that's how I want it to be, and that's what those folks allow this to be. So I'm always thankful for them. And I'm thankful for you too, even if you're not on that list. I'm glad you chose to spend a little bit of time with me today. And I hope you'll come back for episode 2, where we hopefully can figure out a way to get up to some scrap metal, but that's going to take some time. It always does. Have a great rest of your day, whatever it is you're doing. Stay safe, have fun, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.